Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the Vulture Mark II, now with some significant changes. As you can probably already tell, I've decided to invert the turrets. Now, there is a pretty good reason for this. I believe our missiles are currently almost as good, if not as good, as this turret is at taking out aircraft, and the vast majority of the opponents we've been facing, at least ones which have been somewhat difficult, have been in the water, either submarines or standard ships, although most of them have just been standard ships because submarines I just run away from, because I can't even detect them at the moment. So I've inverted the turrets, and I've changed the ammunition to be high explosive, making them far more powerful. I've also increased the gauge a little bit, so the shell should do a lot more damage. Now when it comes to anti-air, I will be implementing a new type of weapon very soon, either the particle, there we are, the particle cannon, perhaps a regular laser, or something like that. I want to have a variety of weapons on this aircraft, not just missiles and the odd advanced cannon. So that is our main goal, but today we have a bit of a different goal. We need to survive, we are on an easier plane of existence, so far no one has tried to kill me, which is very nice, and we need to make sure we are as defensive as possible. So we're going to be setting up the munition warning system yet again, we're going to be setting up the laser defense system so that we have smoke, what are they called actually? I always forget what they're called, but today we will find out what they're called and then we will forever know. Guess who has no idea where it's located? There we are, the smoke dispensers. So that's what we're going to be adding all over the ship, all over the vessel. We should be pretty good against a lot of things. Now the top section is pretty ugly at the moment, I completely concede this. So this section here will be changed as soon as we have enough resource. At the moment it's just a little armor cap which is hiding the base of the turret and the local weapon controller, which also has some surge protectors in there just to make sure that EMP doesn't completely knock out our weaponry. Goodbye, sweet turret, I knew you well. Now don't fret, I am replacing the turret straight away because I've just remembered a suggestion that quite a few people have told me. Why not add a load of the detection systems onto the turrets themselves? Now several of the detection pieces have quite a small field of view, they can't really see much in front of them and they can't turn around, etc. So if you add them to a turret, which in theory should always be facing the target, it should be far more effective. So now both of the turrets, very uglily, have some detection system on them. I will be protecting this better later, but once again, I currently have no resource. But on the upside, I have now added all the munition warners, I've added the laser warners, I've upgraded the flare system, I've even tweaked the shields a little bit, I've added smoke dispensers. We should be good to go. So let's go hunting for some resource zones and get into some combat. I'm getting a little bit bored just floating here now in the fog. Apparently we are now in combat, so I've just sent out my missiles and we're now using the bottom turrets. I have no idea where the enemy is since I can't see it, because of course, once again, we are in fog. Either way though, our shields are picking up a lot of hits. By the looks of it, they have at least one advanced cannon. Oh wow, there's an enemy behind us as well. I thought that missile was just broken. Nope, there's an enemy behind us and two enemies in front of us. I still can't see what we're firing at. I'm just hoping we're being effective. Just keep firing, keep deflecting shots, yay for shields, everything's fine. Oh, I think I can see it. That is a white flyer ship, hello. All those lovely explosions coming from our turrets. Yes, the turrets are utterly destroying it. That is what I wanted to see. Look at that massive explosion. Another massive explosion. Fear the wrath of the Vulture. No longer are we just after carrion. Which means, yes, our name no longer really makes as much sense, but even so. 2 damage, which means we're now changing target. There was an enemy over here as well, which I believe is a waterborne enemy. Can this fog please go away? Maybe that's what I should just call this ship, the Fog, or the Smog. Actually, smog would also have some personal significance because, oh, if you don't follow me on Facebook, incoming slight feels. My cave gecko, my Chinese cave gecko, recently passed away, which did leave me very, very sad for several days, and his name was Smog. So perhaps, even though we are completely the wrong colours, perhaps we can call this Smog as a bit of a remembrance. And look at those turrets! Oh! I think we made the right choice. Oh, that is making me so happy. Utterly obliterating it. Oh, that is beautiful. That is utterly beautiful. Thank you. Turrets, you're doing wonderful work. I also did remember that the lovely smoke dispensers do require fuel, so I have added a couple more fuel sections, then realising that I accidentally left one fuel generator, sorry, one fuel engine left running, so half the fuel went away. Not talking very well right now. Recording this straight after the last one. Remarkably tired. Want to kill things. The next enemy is a flyer, and I really want to see just how good these turrets can be against flying enemies. At the moment, the shells won't be that good, but I still feel like even a few shots will be worth it. So what I'm going to do before we go to the next enemy is quickly swap over the mantlet from the... where are you? There we are. From the AA, which means we're currently just facing down, to the 3-meter tool mantlet, or the 1-meter. So this means we should be able to fire above us in addition to underneath us. Hopefully the failsafe will keep the turrets from simply shooting our aircraft. Everything has been installed, and the enemy over there looks very, very fearsome. A completely metal monstrosity flying through the air with a lot of cram cannons, and by the looks of it, some advanced cannons. The reason why I know this, I saw this at the very start of this campaign, at the very start of the adventure mode, and I ran the other way. So this is a good chance for us to reclaim our honour. Now, before I get into it though, I would just like to answer 2 questions I'm sure a lot of you are asking me. First of all, Lathrix, why don't you just put the turret on the side of the vehicle? That way, you can detect things in the air a lot easier, you can detect things all around you, and you also have a much higher field of view, especially now you're using the larger mantlet. Well, simply put, with this particular turret, there's not enough space, and I haven't had enough time to simply retrofit things. The second thing is, how am I going to set up detection systems on the top if I don't put that on the side? And I think that wing all along there will be dedicated to detection. So with both of those things out of the way, let's see how we do. Actually, what we can do is quickly jump out of here and say hello like this. At least we can actually see what we're doing from here. Okay, cram cannons are heading our way, and there is the enemy. Some of our explosive shots are already hitting. The problem is we don't have fuses on these shots, which means if they're deflected by shields, they are just going to be deflected. No explosions, no nothing. Also, I don't think getting close is a good idea. Those cram cannons are going to be a real bother to dodge as we get closer, so I'm currently turning around as fast as we can, and we're going to strafe them. Come on. Come on, where are my flares? There they are. Come on, missiles, please miss. Thank you. We're currently only shooting with one turret, but it seems to be doing the job. Uh-oh, we've been damaged. We have definitely been damaged on the back. I am massively pitching up right now. Slowing down, dodging those. It's okay. We've only taken a little bit of damage, I'm sure. And they have taken a lot of damage. One cram cannon is aiming at us. Two crammen are aiming at us. Back to build mode. Well, we apparently survived several hits. And down it goes, AI dead. But I'm going to go and attack salvage, because screw that fly. Oh, we could capture it so easily! No, it would be too difficult to get too close to it now. Oh well. Just keep on shooting at it while it explodes. So, where did we take those shots then? Did that just say battle finished, or did that say level up? I'll have to look at that, because that shouldn't have said battle finished. Anyway, so we took a massive shot on the wing, and I think at some point we took a shot on the back as well, but that's already been fully repaired. So not too bad. We just defeated it, and that's the important thing, and I think turrets may be, well, cannons may be the way to go for the future, honestly. Certainly more ammo efficient than missiles. Even though the initial burst from these missiles can be lethal, it's leaving us with too much ammunition loss, and I simply cannot afford to use ammunition processors right now. A lot of uncertainties, and a lot of upgrades still needed. The flare system also needs to be changed. Where it is currently, it's just not working properly. According to the turret, there is an enemy nearby, and there it is, by the looks of it, a very small solitary ship, which just exploded. Well, some battles are going to be a bit less exciting, I suppose. But yay, free resource. Another very small ship, this time in the form of a marauder. I definitely need to add more barrels to the turrets though, because this accuracy is laughably bad. At first, I thought it was because of detection, then I looked into it, nope, we just don't have enough barrels for the optimum accuracy of our turrets. That is far better. So I've increased the barrel length and now our shots are much more accurate. Originally I thought it was the detection system, then I had a quick look at the shots themselves in the shell customizer, and we were nowhere near the barrel length required. So at least now we can hit things at much further range. Even if our thrust once again is completely imbalanced. We need a retrofit very, very soon yet again. This is the result of very, very tired engineering. Oh, cram cannon shot against us, and there is the enemy. What is it? Is that a marauder? There is a very good chance that is simply a marauder. I also think I need to just lower the range of these advanced cannons. It's just not hitting the target at such long distances. Or we could go back to armor piercing, and I think that may be a better idea, thus having much faster projectiles. Missiles hitting in 3, 2, 1. And there goes the marauder. Yeah, especially now the right advanced cannon is currently reloading, we can very quickly swap out the ammunition whilst the belt fed is doing its thing. Whilst I'm changing a few things, at least I can be resourceful. Yay for finding a resource zone at long last. So there we are, all the harvesters, and get as much resource as possible as quickly as possible. Looking back on a few clips, I've noticed one horrible thing. The missiles have hurt us at least 3 times in the last 2 episodes, and one of them resulted in the massive gap in our wing, which I thought was a hit from the enemy flyer. That was not the case. The frag on the screen very clearly shows we hurt ourselves. Now the problem is, because all of our missile launchers are internal, if we're turning too fast or doing anything too quickly, there's a chance the missile will catch and then detonate inside. So what I'm going to have to do is add safety fuses, which will sadly make the missiles weaker, but at least it won't hurt us. In addition to this, I think we are going to have to change how the turrets are set up. The turrets themselves I'm pretty happy with, considering the size and the resource amount we currently have available to us on the flyer. It's just they're not in a good position. I really do need to mount them sideways, or at least mount them more internally, more towards the middle of the craft, so that we can hit more targets. We're not doing terribly, we've just made a few little mistakes which are kind of reflecting now on how efficient we can be. Also, we are rolling everywhere at the moment because the centre of mass has been shifted, and now the blades on the side aren't aligned, so I really think as well, I don't like using it very much, but we may need to use the PID. Now this is really, really effective if you get into it. I've only used it a few times, it's not too difficult to set up, and once you have it all set up, especially with roll, it can lead to very, very efficient stabilization. It's just not that good in terms of engine power, at least in comparison to the rotor blades. Also, the rotor blades can be a lot more powerful for very limited space. What on earth is that? Well, it's definitely flying, but that's pretty much all I can gather. It's flying and it's using balloons. Well, let's test out our new long-range variants. Begin the fire of the armor-piercing rounds. I think it might be made out of wood. Though, to be honest, these shots will be doing very well against metal as well, but that just fell apart instantly. Massive explosion, so clearly these are a lot better. Now that the missiles are firing, we are now within 2,000 meters of the enemy. And it's pretty much already dead from our cannons. AI dead and destroyed. I'm going to guess that was Deepwater Guard, and actually, now I've looked at it again, I think I may know what it is. I can't think of the name of it, but I feel like I've seen it before in the campaign. Armor-piercing rounds, not quite as fun to see, but definitely more effective, at least in these few trials. It's been about 15 minutes since the last clip, and it seems like there are just no more enemies. Lots of resource zones, lots of blood-red water, but no enemies to shoot at. It's starting to get a little bit lonely out here. On the upside, we are getting lots of resource. Now that it's finally brightened up and I can see ahead, I can see if there's any enemies in the distance, and of course I can see all the lovely landmarks, such as the warp gates and the resource zones, I think I've got a new goal. I'm going to be heading west as much as possible to find the most westernly red gate I can find, so the next zone will be completely free of fog and warp storms and all of the horrible bad things that the eastern gates entail. It seems like I keep on accidentally heading east and going to worse and worse zones. This is the first time it's cleared up in quite a while, and isn't it just lovely? Look, you can see everything. A ship I've never seen before in the distance, and again it seems like our armor-piercing shots are doing fantastically. Even though we can't see the water underneath him, we are already doing damage, and for some reason this ship is indeed a him. This is a male ship, even though most ships are named after female names. This one is special, and being shot at a lot. I don't know what kind of ship that is. By the looks of it, by the style, I would say Steel Strider, but honestly, I'm really not too certain. Oh, there's the shots it's shooting at us. It seems like most of them are missing. There they are. Very slight movements, and we're able to dodge them very easily. And now we are within 2,000 meters of the target. No, never mind. That is no way a Steel Strider ship. It's made out of wood. It just looked like that kind of shape. It's funny when it comes to armor piercing. They do fantastically against metal opponents, that's very difficult for me to say, because of their bonus from just ignoring armor, but against things like wood, they don't really have a bonus, so because of their lack of standard damage, they don't do all that well. I could add a little bit more kinetic damage to these things at a very slight cost of armor penetration, but at the moment, I'm fairly happy with the incredibly fast shots, which just go through any armor whatsoever. And we have a flyer. Now this is a concern. Our shots won't do too well against this. Also, I should really stop zooming in and out all the time. Let's stop for a second. We do need to recoup our battery power by the looks of things. Our shields are going in and out of existence. That is a very derpy looking craft. Oh, one of our armor-piercing shots just hit. We could actually make our shots faster. Now that does look like a Steel Strider vehicle. Well, it's too fast for the missiles, but our turrets are doing the job slowly. Is it now slow enough for the missiles? It doesn't seem like it. Just keep on backing off so we can fire for as long as possible, and down it goes. Turrets. Cannons. Far better than expected. And by the way, if I ever say turret at the moment, you know I mean cannon. It's because our cannons are on turrets and our missiles are not. Continuing west. And hopefully continuing with this lovely weather. Finally, after having nothing but resource zones and the wrong type of warp gate, we have found an enemy. But by the looks of it, the weather is finally turning sour on us. But we are now so far west As soon as I find a red warp gate, I am going straight through it. I am increasing the difficulty, which may very well kill us. And we are hopefully going to have much better weather. That was a really fast kill. Again, cannons, you're just doing so ridiculously well. Ah, never mind, I thought the weather was getting worse. Apparently it's staying fairly stable. Well, with that, I'm afraid though I am all out of time, although not all that much has happened. Okay, never mind, I'll try and do the outro again in a second. We're once again fighting. It's kind of weird. You always seem to find enemies in clumps. It's never just one enemy, it's always one enemy, then another fairly soon. And by the looks of it, once again it's a flyer, and I can't really see where it is. All I can see is the jets. What are they there? I have no idea. Okay, well it has missiles, so hopefully my flares... Oh, they are missiles! That looks so weird at such a long range. My flares won't even go off at that long range, though. We've hit it a few times, not really doing too much. There it is, we can finally see what it is, and... I'm going to say white flares. It's hard to tell, though. Oh, there we go, now we're hitting it. And there go our missiles, we are within 2,000 meters, so I'm going to start to back off now. All of our thrust is now going backwards, which means we can keep it at a very safe distance. Definitely white flyers. Oh, that looks, absolutely brutal. So, uh-oh, missiles, flares, please! I'm so glad that was EMP. That may have just killed me. This is why I should be inside. What I should do is set up a camera on the outside so I can simply manually control that. Either way, like I was trying to say a second ago, I am all out of time for today's episode. In the next one, we are going to go through a red zone, or perhaps a blue zone, then into a red zone, so that we can start fighting stronger enemies with our armor-piercing rounds, and I'm going to start making the switch from missiles to a more cannon-orientated build, hopefully having the cannons on the side and then converting some of this wing segment into a bit of a internal cannon, so that we can shoot with, I am hoping, 200mm gauge shots. At the moment we're only doing 120mm, and that really isn't the best, it seems. So I think that is my current goal. Also, I should hopefully be a little bit less sleepy, because like I say, I am recording this almost as soon as I've uploaded the last one. I have no idea why I'm doing this, I just really fancied playing from the depths. So I do apologise if I've been a little bit off during this episode, but honestly, I've had a lot of fun, and I've learnt a lot about cannons. They're really good. Ignoring the coughing fit from hell, if you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.